Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Facebook Live. We are here at a packed Bloomingdale High School as it's their senior night. The Bloomingdale Bulls are taking on the Strawberry Crest Chargers, and we are joined again by sports medicine specialist Dr. Jeff Sellman. Dr. Sellman, how are you?
I'm great tonight, Kyle. Great to be here at Strawberry Crest on senior, and I just want everyone to know, if you see a toga walking behind me, it is not Jeff Sellman's toga party. It is senior night here at Bloomingdale High School.
Dr. Sellman, a lot of times we're doing these interviews on the sidelines of football games. So, maybe some of the viewers back home might think that we work primarily with football players, or maybe we work primarily with male athletes. But obviously that's not the case. We do see every single sport, many kinds of sports, and we do see a lot of female athletes. So today we wanted to talk about a condition that maybe not so many people know about. It's called female athlete triad. So, but before we get into that, what are some of the major differences between male athletes and female athletes?
I think it's very important, Kyle, for us to remember that males and females are quite different. They play, many of them, the same sport, often different sports. They are physiologically different. Their body chemistries are different, especially from the metabolic and hormonal standpoint, which is where I think we get a lot of our basis for what we're about to talk about, which is the female athletic triad.
And with that said, like I said, maybe not that many people know about this condition. So what exactly is the female athlete triad?
The female athlete triad is a condition that has been documented in the literature and in medicine for almost 40 years, but still not quite elucidated on exactly how they interact. But it is three pillars or 3 points of a triangle that then contribute to the overall health of a female athlete. And that is caloric intake, or energy expenditure, which would be disordered eating, bone mineral density loss, or osteoporosis or penia, and amenorrhea, which is a lack of the menstrual cycle.
And can one of these conditions influence another, or can all of these kind of, develop separately on their own?
So yes and yes is the answer to that question. They are true, and independent, which means that they generally, as the triangle would suggest, one will lead to another, but they all can actually come about on their own. The main basis of it, however, is the fact that a lot of women, especially in sports that are really body conscious, such as gymnastics, swimming, dance, they are really aware of what they put into their bodies. So oftentimes they will actually restrict their calories, or, as we see in this day and age, so much practice that they expend too many calories. We need calories to have a menstrual cycle. Well, not you and I, but the women do. So when you lose a menstrual cycle, you lose the protective benefits of estrogen, which are related to bone and other processes in the body.
And these athletes, they're doing this. They're restricting their calories, or they're doing these things, and they think they're doing it for benefit for themselves. But how would they know if they're actually experiencing these conditions that contribute to the triad? How do they get diagnosed from a physician standpoint?
So what we do is we screen, I screen all of my female athletes from the beginning of when, even before they're able to maybe have a menstrual cycle. But without getting into the complete details about each menstrual cycle, we look to see if they've had a history of shin splints, for instance, if they have a history of stress fractures or fractures in their feet, especially ballet dancers. We ask them if they've had their menstrual cycle, and if they've had, how many have you had over the past 6 months? And if you've had less than 6, or if you've had a very irregular cycle, then we will delve further into their eating habits. And oftentimes what is interesting is that it's actually not an actual eating disorder, such as amenorrhea or bulimia, but it's a disordered eating where women are not taking enough calories to meet the caloric expenditure. And then the one last thing, as we always screen for, is their birth control choices. And as we said before, estrogen is very important for bone health and overall women's health. When you are on a progesterone-only birth control, that often can also lead to the pillars of the female athletic triad.
And with these pillars, these 3 distinct pillars, what is generally, if an athlete is diagnosed with one of them, or all 3, or any kind of variation of them, what's the treatment process like?
The treatment process is a multidisciplinary and multifactorial. We have to get to the root and elucidate what is actually going on. Maybe we need a mental health provider to talk about the disordered eating and maybe body image. We talk about a nutritionist to see what exactly they're taking in. I like to get levels of vitamin D and to make sure everything else is not contributing to it, such as a thyroid problem or any other blood work or metabolic problem. So blood work, getting nutritionists involved, and getting a sports psychologist involved, and then if necessary a bone mineral density scan if in fact it is indicated for the woman who has repeated shin splints.
And Dr. Sellman, you said you track all of your female athletes so you can kind of track their care process, as it were, but a lot of athletes may not have that same benefit. So I guess how would an athlete, if they think that they're experiencing one of these conditions, or if they're experiencing or they may feel like they are, who's the first point of contact? Who should they go to? What should they do?
Moms know all.
Moms know best.
Moms know best. Moms are the first doctor, first nurse. They're always the one who say, hey, you know what, your menstrual cycle is not regular, so let's try to see if we can get it regular. And then I leave it up to the gynecologist or the obstetrician to kind of talk to them about birth control that is more detailed on which to choose if we need it. And we're not talking birth control to prevent birth necessarily. We're talking about the hormones that we would need on board. So, and then the parents also will know, gosh, I'm taking her quite a bit because she's having so many fractures or so many shin splints.
Dr. Sellman, is there anything else that you think we may have not gone over that might be beneficial for the viewers?
There's a lot that we haven't gone over, but but we need to remember that females and males are different, and that think that we need to have a high level of expectation from a healthcare provider standpoint, that we take women as individuals as different than men, and they have different hormones that are very important, and that we need to talk about it on a one-on-one basis.
All right, Dr. Sellman, thanks so much for being with us here tonight. For the viewers at home, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep staying tuned in. We have one more Facebook Live left next Friday. Keep staying tuned in, and we will stay keeping you active. Thank you.